Hi, everybody. There was once this Australian sitcom that I used to watch all the time. It was called Kath and Kim. And if you're Australian or a New Zealander like me, you would probably know about Kath and Kim. And the two central characters were Kath, the mother, and her daughter Kim. And in the series, there was this little line that they repeatedly said, or Kath said repeatedly to Kim, from mother to daughter. She said, "Look at me, look at me, look at me," and um, it was all about getting Kimmy's attention. Look at me, And Kath would say these words over and over to get Kim's attention. And whenever I think about narcissism, I think about that phrase, "Look at me." It's a demand to be noticed, to be seen, to be validated. And there is something in all of us, I believe, that wants to be noticed. We long um, to be known, to be explored, discovered, and touched. And if we're not seen, the darkness of loneliness can open up so much like a huge gaping cave that might swallow us whole. And the fear of that place drives our demand for others to look at me. We may not think that's happening, but actually, a lot of that is happening probably quite subconsciously. You see, a child who never felt unconditional love often grows up looking and looking and looking for it in all the wrong places. The word narcissism has come into public awareness probably only in the last 30 years. I don't think I ever heard the word until the early 2000s, but it has gained a place in our society. Perhaps an awareness has grown up with the rise of social media. But this need for adulation and love has been in us seemingly forever. The term narcissism is derived from Narcissus, a character in Greek mythology, best known in the Roman poet's story poem Ovid's Metamorphoses. But a writer called Terence Real tells the fable like this: Narcissus was loved by many. Both youths and young girls wanted him, but he had much cold pride within his tender body. No youth or girl could ever touch his heart. Narcissus is a radiant, energetic young man who excites the passions of the nymphs, all of whom he rejects. One of his spurned admirers, in vengeance, prays that Narcissus might himself one day know the torment of unrequited love. The nymph's wish is fulfilled when Narcissus, hot and thirsty from hunting, stumbles upon a clear pool in the woods. He leans forward to drink and instantly becomes enchanted with the beautiful face staring back at him. Narcissus brings his lips near to take a kiss and plunges his arms in for an embrace. But the image he longs for flies from his touch, only to return again each time he withdraws. When Narcissus cries in frustration, his falling tears disrupt the figure in the water, and beseeches the spirit not to abandon him. Stay, I entreat you. Let me gaze upon you, if I may not touch you. With this, the tale concludes. And much more of the same, he cherished the flame that consumed him. Narcissus loses all thought of food or sleep. Transfixed, he pines, withers away, and dies. That's from Terence Real. From a very good book called I Don't Want to Talk About It, Overcoming the Secret Legacy of Male Depression. There's a hunger, a need for love, and in the reflection, it is found. At last, Narcissus probably says, at last I found someone just like me, so I will enjoy their adulation, their praise. And Narcissus becomes paralyzed in his fascinated attention. Terence Real says that the curse of Narcissus is immobilization, not out of love for himself, but out of dependency upon his image. Narcissism is about a deficiency of self love. It's being in love with an image. an imperfect image, an image that is fragile to the touch of reality. The image requires maintenance and careful management. Protecting and feeding the image becomes the obsession. Whereas true self love is a friendship with fault and flaw, with beauty and strength. It's coming to terms with the faults and the flaws and the things we're good at. Christianity is about a cross where we lay down our broken self image and find a new and glorious one. But there's an emptiness. Something is missing where something once existed. It's kind of like that hole in your heart when you've lost someone you've loved. Someone's died, and it feels empty when now they're no longer there. It's a hole, and it must be filled. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. I've got one on my table at the moment, with, and you get to the end, you find six pieces are missing, and it's incomplete, and it's unworthy to be called done. Yet it stares at you all the time, every day, wanting completion. I have a God shaped hole in me. And there is a quote that is reportedly from Blaise Pascal. And this is the quote: there is a God shaped vacuum. And he's not talking about a vacuum cleaner, he's talking about an empty space. There is a God shaped vacuum in the heart of every person, and it can never be filled by any created thing. It can only be filled by God, made known through Jesus Christ. Now, they say Blaise actually said that, but researchers say he never actually said that. It's probably more accurately, the quote is this from um, his longer dissertations. There was in once in a man a true happiness, of which there now remained to him only the mark and empty trace, which he in vain tries to fill from all his surroundings, seeking from things absent the help he does not obtain in things present. But these are all inadequate, because the infinite abyss, okay, that hole, can only be filled by an infinite and immutable object. That is to say, only by God Himself. He, God, only is our true good, and since we have forsaken Him, it is a strange thing that there is nothing in nature which has not been serviceable in taking His place. The stars, the heavens, earth, the elements, plants, cabbages, putting cabbages, leeks, animals, insects, calves, serpents, fever, pestilence, war, famine, vices, adultery, incest, all those things, they can't fill a hole. So that's from Blaise Pascal, Penaces. And if you want the better quote without all my interruptions, you need to come over and look at the website. There's a link in the show notes. But into this vacant hole, we can so easily pour activities and achievement, and it fills it briefly, Then and we feel good, and then we must have more. It becomes a craving, an obsession. What if we were to ask God to fill the God-shaped hole, the vacuum? And my mind goes to the two men walking away from Jerusalem after Christ's crucifixion and resurrection. And they were followers of Jesus. They would have spent a lot of time with Jesus. They would have known him. And like any death in the family, a close one, there was a hole in their heart. And they were walking back and they were discussing all the events. They were discussing their grief and their pain, their loss. And we pick up the story. That same day, two of Jesus' followers were walking into the village of Emmaus, 7 miles from Jerusalem. As they walked along, they were talking about everything that had happened. As they talked and discussed these things, Jesus himself suddenly came and began walking with them. But God kept them from recognizing him. He asked them, "What are you discussing so intently as you walk along?" They stopped short, sadness written across their faces. You can imagine, like, "What? You must know. Come on, what? You must know what's been going on." We'll carry on. Later on, after a meal with them, where Jesus prayed and broke bread with them, It's recorded them saying that, and he just disappeared. They said to each other, "Didn't our hearts burn within us as he talked with us on the road and explained the scriptures to us?" And I think about that. I think, yeah, they're God-shaped holes filled by Christ. That vacuous, empty space, that grief, that loss, that emptiness, um, was made whole. Now, look, I long for conversations with a few others, two or three others, where we kind of expose our vacuum need, that hole, and together we see we together Christ seems to just quietly slip into the midst of us and into the conversation. And I think that's what church was always meant to be like. And everything else flows out of that. But that's another topic, another day. I've written a poem. I said it's called I Look Into the Pool. I look into the pool, hoping for a sip. I notice a beautiful charred reflection. A luring smile flirts back at me. They are so perfect. Angelic beauty draws me in. Hypnotic enchantment. Beauty and strength, there is no sin. I'm a perfect one. I can see it in myself. No flaws or failings. Look at me. Take me in. I don't care about you. You are lower than my style. I fill my cup with my own glory. Please give me a proving smile. Someone throws a rock. Ripples smash my view. I have to focus and wait even more till I come back into view. When I've had enough of you, I will move on to another. My cup of worth is never full. Whole in heart is full of clutter. Stop it, the Christ child says. Look at me instead. I am the only perfect one. Pierced hands, thorn scratched head. You've come up under you've come under a satanic whisper, a weaving of a curse. Come to me and lay it down. I alone can quench your thirst. So that's this week's offering about narcissism. If you've got some comments, then leave them in the comments below. Email me. I really like to hear from people emailing me. Barry@turningthepage.co.nz. I'd love to hear what you think. I'm going to be talking about narcissism for the rest of this month, and then I'll be ending it with a class. But please email me. I do like to hear from you. Bye.